It's time for the Tarot Snapshot. Comes to you every Sunday evening-ish. Try to get out there every Sunday evening. And it's a longer tarot reading in terms of looking at where we're at in life, what vexes and perplexes us, what heals and reveals. So essentially, we're taking a look at where we're at in life right now, what challenges us, and the guidance that we can receive around that. Now, I set the intention at the beginning of these readings that this is for anybody that watches this video. So if you're watching this video, this reading is for you, which means this reading is also for me. So I also get so much benefit out of the wisdom that tarot and connection to spirit brings. Now, before I shuffle, before I lean into this, I want to give you a spirit message, a psychic message in terms of general guidance and advice. Over my shoulder here, you're going to see a vase of lilacs. It's a lilac season where I'm at in northern Vermont and New Hampshire, and there's nothing like the smell of lilacs. I've been really appreciating them this year. And I've noticed that over the course of my life, as I get older, I have a finer appreciation for things, and I think part of that comes from the realization that I only have a certain amount of years in this world before I'm no longer in this world. And as such, I want to do my best to lean into the gifts that this world has given me. It's often said that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And while that might be true, while that might absolutely be true, I think the road to suffering is numbers. And what I mean by that is, let's say I'm 45. If I'm blessed to live until I'm 85, I only have 40 more Christmases left. I only have 40 more Halloweens. I only have 40 more Mays and Junes where I'm going to be able to smell lilacs. That's not a lot. Not by comparison, not a lot. And the older we get, the more that number shrinks. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom here. I'm trying to offer you a perspective in terms of making sure that you're not spending these precious days, these precious years, worrying and focusing on things that don't matter. Go find some lilacs, go smell them, go appreciate them. And I guess the message is, in a hokey way, as much as I'm able to provide it, stop and smell the roses. Because one day the roses won't be there. One day you won't be here to smell those roses. And yeah, you might reincarnate and come back again, but there are no guarantees. So go smell the lilacs. Go to the ocean. Go enjoy this world and the gift that it is while you're here in it. If you're watching this video, you're in this world and you can appreciate the gifts that this world brings you. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the card that represents us this week. That card would be the Six of Pentacles. Okay. Now I can see why this would tie into that message of, stop and smell the roses. Make sure that you're paying attention to the important things. Prioritize your efforts, prioritize your energies. Make the most out of this precious gift of life that you've been given. So we see here the idea of charity and goodwill. Absolutely. We're giving to the needy. We see the scale here, though. This is about balanced and reciprocal relationships. Sometimes things will be hidden from us that we won't ever be able to see. This card is showing us, we've got this person who's actually in need, but I take a look at this little symbol here, or the little red ticket in this person's pocket. It stands out in contrast, and I think this person is hiding something. This person can't see that. This person's not actually in need. So how many people in this world are needy and will take from us? And through that sense of goodwill and charity, how many people have we needlessly given to? How many people have we given our energies to? Because this isn't just about money, this is about energy. And really, money and energy are the same thing. How many relationships in your life are imbalanced, that you're getting less than you're giving? That's super important for you and your well-being. Just this brings to mind a mantra that I try to live by. And if you've watched these before, I've said it before, but for anybody that's new to this type of reading, this is a mantra that I think is really important. So mantra, saying, principle, guiding line, guiding light, what have you. We must serve ourselves, but never at the expense of others. We must serve others, but never at the expense of ourselves. And that's what this card really says. Serve others, not really at your expense. Serve yourself, not at the expense of others. I had a really wise friend tell me one time, like, you got to be careful how much you're giving. Because, I mean, imagine if you only had $1 in your pocket and you gave it to somebody that was on the street that was asking for money. Well, how much good does that dollar do you? How much good does that dollar do you? You know, so don't give your last bit of energy to people that aren't going to be grateful, or perhaps just taking it from this place of selfishness instead of actual valid need. The more you can focus on balanced and reciprocal relationships, the more you're going to have a chance to smell the lilacs in this world. The card that challenges us, that vexes and perplexes us this week, the Devil card. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with tarot, the Devil really doesn't talk about the devil, not the Christian sense of the devil. This is the baser natures of humanity, the lesser natures of humanity, the darknesses, the addictions, the shames, the guilts, all of it. We all have a shadow side. We're human. This card is saying that we're chained to something. Now, what I appreciate is that if you look at the image of this card, you can see how those chains could really just slip right over their heads. They're very loose. But I also see this image right here of the devil. You know, he is lighting the tail of this person. But if you were to hold a torch upside down, you're going to burn yourself because the flame's going to go up and it's going to burn your hand. This card's asking us to not lean into the baser natures of ourselves. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. But this is that darkness, that depression, the darker side of life, and how we have a tendency to be our own worst enemy. So the devil in your life would be that self-limiting belief. You know, are you gentle to yourself? Are you talking crap to yourself? Are you really harsh to yourself? That's what this is, because that torch is burning yourself. If you're not loving yourself, what are you doing? And is that ever going to work? The tendency to be too harsh on ourselves, that comes from the cultural conditioning that we're raised in. You know, be hard on yourself, you know, push yourself, what have you. But that's not what life requires of us. Life requires us to nurture ourselves so we can be the best version of ourselves. So I have to wonder how much this guy is actually this guy. You know, think greed, think selfishness. That goes hand in hand. This person doesn't need the money. I can remember being in and I know this is problematic, I can remember being in the 80s and 90s growing up, and there was these documentaries of people who would panhandle, like be beggars on the street, and they would follow some of them, and they would change out a costume and go into a Mercedes. You know, that idea that some people aren't actually in need, and that brings up a whole different can of worms for us, because there are some people in need, and we should help when we can. I think that we all have to take that chance that, you know, sometimes this person might actually be that person. But if we have the information and the awareness, and if we know that there's a devil in our life, we don't feed that devil. Let's take a look at the guidance, what heals and reveals for us out of this. Nine of Cups. Okay. Oh, I like this position of this Kai, because he's like, what's mine is mine. Not yours, it's mine. He's earned this. I like to think of these as almost trophies. There's a sense of emotional satisfaction here. I also like to think of this as the wish card, that we have to pray and wish for things. So, you know, that serenity prayer, Lord, give me the courage, you know, to accept the things I can't change and to know the difference, the wisdom to know the difference. You can ask for wisdom. You can ask, you know, throw up a prayer to the higher spirits, whatever spirits you believe in. Throw in a prayer that if you feel like you're in an imbalanced relationship, ask for a sign. Or better yet, give yourself the clarity of mind by asking yourself what you would have a child or a sister or a brother or a best friend do if they were in those positions where relationships might be out of balance. So keep yourself in balance. Remember that you have to serve yourself in this world, hopefully not at the expense of others. And as you do keep yourself in balance, and as you feed yourself appropriately, you'll have more time to smell the lilacs and to make the best of this world that you're given. So, my love to you. Take care. That's the Tarot Snapshot for this week. Have a wonderful Memorial Day, and we'll see you next week.